Hey, it's Terry Carr. Thanks for checking out my web series. I bring in the artists and we chat. New artists, classics, and everyone in between. In this episode, amazing guitarist Phil X discusses his new release, Pow Right in the Kisser, with his band The Drills, playing in Bon Jovi, and collaborating with famous friends. Let's go. So I'm with Phil X. I just said to Phil, you're very Jersey because of your time in Bon Jovi. So I still, think of you as like one of our family members, our long lost family members. So welcome. It is so awesome to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I was talking to a friend of mine. This has been crazy because on this feature, I've had so many amazing guitar players this month alone. I had Satriani, I had Bumblefoot, me and Bumble were in person. I had Billy Morrison yesterday, who's like so fun, the king of cool, and you coming on. So my friend said to me, oh, Phil's amazing. He's such a great metal guitarist. Now, I never think of you that way. I've always thought of you with more of that kind of punky, pissed off kind of flavor. So I love the fact that you're kind of unboxable when it comes to playing because everybody's got this different perception of what you do.
Unboxable. I like that.
You're unboxable, baby.
That's awesome. You know what? I mean, going back to doing a lot of sessions, like so many playing on other records, and one day it could be Avril Lavigne, and the next day it could be Alice Cooper. You become a chameleon. But my heart is in just cool songs, like even when I write songs, the lyrics are really important to me. I like to be interpretive, so it could be interpreted many ways as opposed to just spelling it out. And I feel like when it comes to playing, I just play for the song. And if it's punky, it's going to be punky guitar. And if there's a song on, actually there's a punky song on the new record called Way Gone, in parentheses, beam me up, Scotty. Even though as punky as it is, I shred in that.
You do shred in it because I've heard it, and it's got Kenny Aronoff on the drums.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about this record. And I love the title too, because the title's just so great. It's like pow, right in the kiss of baby. It's coming out on the 28th of this month. And I love how you do this. And this is not the first time that you've done this with all of these cool drummer your drummer folks. Oh, do you think of yourself as somebody who is in the groove of the rhythm? Because there are certain songwriters and vocalists too that do that. Steven Tyler, obviously, because he was a drummer. Sully Erna, percussionist. What is it about you that kind of gets in that pocket with these drummers and makes these great records? Because all of these drummers are like, you got Kenny Aronoff, and you've got Liberty DeVito, and you've got Ray Luzier, and you've got Tommy Lee on this new single. And I mean, it just goes on and on. It's crazy. Brian Tishy, the Tish man, our Jersey brother, the Tishmeister. So talk to me a little bit about why you're marry so well with that percussion.
It's funny. I just love vibes. I rarely feel like, some of my favorite records are one vibe, like Van Halen 1, right? It's just
the
four
greatest.
guys just jamming and rocking out and all these great hooky songs. And, that's an amazing thing. And then I love having different flavors on one record as well. So, and the drummer thing was an accident. It was like, wanting to record a record and my drummer going on tour with somebody else. Because if you're in LA and if you have a great drummer, he's playing in 5 bands. So it was uncommon for me. Like, hey man, we got a gig at the Whiskey next Friday. Oh dude, I'm playing with somebody else. And then you just go down the list. Hey man, we got a gig at the Whiskey next Friday. Oh, I'm playing with somebody else.
Oh man.
It was that. So, and then when we just took that aspect into recording, 14 drummers for like the last record, Stupid Good Lookings, and then this record, I just kept writing. And then the first one on this record was Battleship with Tishy. And then the last one recorded was with Tosh Peterson in November. So it was a 10-year span. That was songs called Seemed Like a Good Idea. And then in there you squeeze in Ray. And then I was on tour with Bon Jovi when I recorded Liberty in at the Power Station in New York between two Madison Square Garden.
And Tico's on this record too. Tico slid in there as well.
We had a day off in Vegas, and I just said, "Hey, I know you like to golf on your day off, but if I get a studio, will you play on the track?" And he said, "Of course." So I mean,
well, you got Tico off the golf course on a day off to come play in a studio.
I did, and
It's
that
big.
song,
It's big.
came out amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
I was going for really funky, and he's got Cuban in his funk,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it just came together so well. I loved it,
Yeah.
and I'm just really proud of it, how everything came out. But I was telling somebody the other day, you work with other drummers on other artists' records. Like I can't even tell you how many records I'm on with Kenny Aronoff. Like I lost count. So, but when you work on other artists' records with drummers, and then you gel musically, and there's chemistry and camaraderie, and the whole thing is like, saying, "Hey, will you play on my record?" It's kind of like, "What do you want to get for lunch?" It's just very like a natural thing.
Yeah.
So I feel blessed to be in that position to be able to do that, and then having all these guys on the record is amazing to me. I'm a fan too, right? I'm a fan of great drummers. And the Tommy thing was like, I played on all the solo records.
Yep.
So asking him to play on my record, I really wanted to pitch something that he could really sink his teeth into. So I went online and I was on YouTube looking for a Tommy Lee drum solo from a Motley Crue show. And I'm looking for something that he's playing, and bam, I find this groove that he's playing, and he's just smashing it. It's like, oh my God, this is great. I wrote Fake the Day Away to that groove. And that's just an example of me having the drummer in mind.
And you sent that to him, and then
Yeah.
he kind of gets it and feels it out. And what is like his first reaction when he gets that? Is his vision the same as yours, or is there a little bit of a
Well,
different vision? Tommy's
it's a,
like a drumming big puppy.
yeah.
Nobody's
Well,
telling the puppy what to do. The puppy's getting out of the cage and he's out of his mind.
well, that's exactly it. And I wanted it to be like a blank slate situation. Every drummer, I sent them a vocal and a guitar. That was it. No drum ideas. I want it to be you, right? So, but in Tommy's case, this was really amazing because I sent that to him, and he took it into his studio and sampled it and slowed it down and put a loop on it
He
so I could hear
slowed
it
it down.
yeah. He sent it back, and he goes, and this is exactly what he said. I love it. This is the tempo.
He thought it was too fast.
Yeah. So he slowed it down like 10 beats per minute, which is a
Wow.
lot.
But I don't hear that. So how did it get back up there again?
It didn't.
It didn't.
It
Wow. So
didn't.
it was more
But
bombastic. It was like crazier.
this is when it gets funny. It gets funny because we're in the studio now. It's me, Tommy, Dan, our bass player, and we're rocking it out. And he's like, "Hey, man, can we bring it back another 2 beats per minute?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I tell the guy in the control room. He sets the new tempo, and then we're jamming that. And he goes, "This is great, but I think 2 more beats and it'll be perfect." And then so we did that, and that's the tempo that you hear on the record.
That's why
So
people love working with you. It's such a collaborative effort. And you know
yes,
what I think you talked about it and you said it's so nice. It's literally like asking somebody to go to lunch. I think that's got to be such a beauty for you. I talk to people who are in bands all the
yeah,
time,
yeah,
but I think that being a working musician, there has to be some kind of sense of like, wow, I'm doing what I want. Every day is a little bit different. A lot of the band drama is not in my life, that happens in certain bands. So it has to
yeah.
be, especially now at this point in your life, because Phil X and the Drills, I mean, this is not a new project. You've been around for a long time, over 20 years. So to be
Yeah.
able to still be doing it and make great music at a time where now there's more freedom, you don't have to worry about, oh, is this record company going to take it or who's going to do this or who's going to do that? So
Yeah.
do you really feel like a sense of fulfillment as plus, if you want to play in a giant arena, you go out with the Jove, you go out with Bon Jovi. John loves you. You've been on 3 records, especially
Yeah.
the last one, Forever, which was a big comeback record for the band.
Yeah.
So it has to be like a cool time to be you, I would think.
It's amazing. I love being I relate it to say it being a painter, and then you have 2 different canvases. The lead front in your face role, and then the supporting role in Bon Jovi, which is for me, I mean, I say this all the time, but not Living Prayer, I'm sorry. Living Proof was a great song on that record.
Very
Forever.
great. Yeah.
But Living on a Prayer is a song of my youth. So I still get on that stage and I still get goosebumps when I start on the talk box and the entire audience gets electric. It's like an unbelievable moment every night.
Yeah.
And doing my own thing is, you know, it's, I guess I get to be 100% me. You know, I get to crack my jokes in between songs. I get to play the way I want to play, sing the way I want to sing. And on this record, especially, I got to write a bunch of songs that I would have never written before, like Broken Arrow, just to get, you know, deep for a second. Broken Arrow, I wrote after Chris Cornell passed. And I would have never approached anything that associated to suicide before that moment. But because this record, I just wanted to show more dimension and depth in my writing and my singing. And I feel like, I feel like, you know, mission accomplished, you know?
No doubt about it. No
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt about it. I was thinking about it. I'm like, Phil X is kind of like, you know, you're not a secret, but in a way, like rock and roll's best kept secret because there's just so much cool stuff going on with you. And I love the fact that, you know, you're able to do all of these phenomenal different projects. And I think the cool thing is when people get to hear stuff from this record, they're going to go back to the older stuff
I
and
think so.
pick it up and give it a listen and kind of get, you know, get in your wheelhouse of becoming a fan. And I think that's the beauty of what you do.
I think I need to call you every week to get this, to get like a pep talk.
Well, no, I mean, because I'm like, you know, I've known who you are forever, and I remember when, you know, look, and it's great because you just played with Richie Sambora.
Yeah.
You guys played together at, you know, the Rock for Responders with Richie
Yeah.
event not long ago, a couple weeks ago. And I love that because, you know, and when I had John on this feature right before the record came out and we talked, we did our Jersey talk and it was wonderful. I think
Awesome.
people are always looking for bigger stories
Yeah.
in everything rather than just look at it like people get to different points in their lives. Life changes sometimes for people. You're at this point here, you're at that point there, you're at this point here. Nobody's pissed off at each other, nobody hates each other. This is
No.
kind of the way that things go. And
Yeah.
so I'm very happy for you to see your success because I know you've been a working musician for a really long time. But when I
Thank you.
saw you in Sambora on stage and that synergy was just great, it was so cool. Those clips were awesome.
Well, everybody, it's funny because he was the last minute addition, and I had gotten the gig a couple of days before, so I was learning a bunch of songs, and then they called me and they said, "Hey, so Richie's gonna come out and do Living on a Prayer. Will that be a problem?" I'm like, "No,
No,
we're,
not for
we're both
you.
adults, man.
Right.
It's not gonna be recess in
People
sixth
always
grade."
do that. They always think, you know, that you can't talk about to this one or this one's not going to be in a room with that one. I think it just makes for better clickbait all the time because everything is
Yeah,
about clicks, clicks, clicks. Let's make for good
of course.
clickbait.
Yeah,
But to see you two together for me was not like, oh, let's see if they look like they want to kill each other on stage. I just love to see you guys playing together. I thought
yeah,
like, wow, here's two awesome guitar players,
yeah.
you know, playing a song that means a lot to each one of them for different reasons. So it was nice to see
Exactly.
the two of you.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? The one thing that I had to keep in mind is Richie doesn't do the modulation at the end of the song, but we do. So I was like, "Don't modulate, don't modulate."
Let's hope
So,
here's hoping he
yeah,
doesn't. That's funny. That's
yeah.
funny. That's great. That's awesome. Look, congratulations on an incredible record. Phil X and the Drills, Pal Right and the Kisser comes out on the 28th of this month. It's awesome. It's a musician's record, and it's somebody who just wants to put on a record and have a great time and listen to some awesome storytelling and some really, really phenomenal playing. So, Phil, it's
Uh,
so nice to have you on.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you.